This is what he's been waiting for. Our next performer, he is a civil attorney. But the way he does it, it's criminal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just fun to say. Bennet Susser! Oh, yeah!
I have a confession to make. I'm not the suave, sophisticated heartthrob that you see before you. I'm a mess. And the reason I'm a mess is my parents. And it started literally just after I was born, when they named me Bennet Susser. The first name doesn't go with the second name. There's no cadence. Bennet Susser! Think of famous people's monikers. Barack Obama, Abraham Lincoln, Osama bin Laden. Geesh, the most despicable person in our lifetime has more of a melodic rhythm to his name than I do. And because my name is so uneven on the ears, people usually don't get it on the first or second listen. I'll call somebody up. The person screening the call will say, "Who may I say is calling?" No matter how carefully I enunciate, Bennet Susser. I get, who? Huh? What? It's really great when they give me back the name that they think they heard. Bernard Seltzer? Dennis Custard? No wonder I'm fat. People associate me with food and drink. Even my wife at times gets it wrong. My last name is spelled S-U-S-S-E-R, but sometimes she'll pronounce it shithead. I'll hear that from my wife later on. Even my name in print doesn't help, because essentially I have two last names. First day of high school, first class, the teacher reading the attendance sheet says, Susan Bennet? And I know it's me, and I gotta answer. And this is high school, so my voice is changing, so I'm saying, here! You know the Johnny Cash song, A Boy Named Sue? I'm a boy named Susser! And Bennet Susser also is not an easy name to remember. I'm willing to bet you that on your way home, one of you is going to turn to another and say, hey, what'd you think of the name guy? Chances are it'll be one of my kids. And because my name is not bizarre enough, my parents had to misspell it. How do you spell Bennet? B-E-N-N-E-T-T. Not my parents. They dropped off the last T. Really teed me off. I asked my parents, why would you do that? Why would you spell it that way? They said, the last name is 6 letters, middle 2 repeating, so we wanted to have the first name match. You know, make it symmetric. Well, I may be Jewish, but I'm anti-symmetric. Another thing wrong, my parents never gave me a middle name. So that makes my initials BS. Maybe my wife's not wrong. So if you buy me a present, don't get it monogrammed. BS, I guess I'm destined to become an attorney. Well, I wasn't so much destined. It was really a mandate from my father. My father, when I was a little kid, pulls me aside. He says, Susser. We were very close. Susser. What do you want to be if you grow up. Gee, Pop, I'd like to be an archaeologist. No! You're going to be an attorney? That's it! End of discussion. So the guy who stifles my ability to challenge or object wants me to litigate court cases? My family raised me in Queens, New York, so I speak the Queen's English. That means for me, Coke and Pepsi are soda. And let me tell you, those Queens roots run deep. Just this morning, I prepared a subpoena. It's amazing that I could speak any dialect of English. My parents were German-speaking immigrants. When I was a boy about to go to school, my mother says to me, Bubala. My parents messed up my name. They couldn't use it. Bubala. It looks like it might rain. Take an umbrella, mitt you. My father overhears this and he chides my mother. He says, Hanya, how long have you lived in America? It's not take an umbrella, mitt you. It's take an umbrella, vit you. Vit, mitt. No wonder the last presidential election I didn't go Mitt Romney. But you know, despite the language issue, my family really adapted well to the United States and, you know, kind of learned to work the system. And the perfect case in point was my bar mitzvah reception. Now, back in my day, bar mitzvah parties weren't these gala mini wedding events. They were usually held in a restaurant's party room. Not mine. It was held in my Queens apartment. And the main course was a turkey that we won from an entry slip drawing at a bank that had just opened up. And we didn't just stuff the bird. We literally stuffed the ballot for that in what we affectionately refer to as the Great Bar Mitzvah Turkey Bank Heist. It was like a bad 1930s gangster movie. We were the Cosa Nostra. The ringleader, Pops, he distracted the guard. His ma, Big Mama, she was lookout. And yours truly, 5 fingers, but 1 T, grabbed every entry slip he could get his hands on. And then we'd take it home, we'd fill them out, we'd go to the bank and discreetly put it in the drawing drum. And we repeated it over and over and over again. Once in a while, a customer would come to me and say, hey, are there any more entry slips available, and what prize are they giving away? And I can honestly say, there's no more entries available, but it's okay because the prize is a turkey. You know the rule, 1 entry per person? My family's responsible for that rule. It's called the Bennet Susser rule. Don't think that incident doesn't have its impact on me, even to this day. Every Thanksgiving, when I carve a turkey, I get writer's cramp. And you know, come to think of it, we must have won the turkey for Thanksgiving, and so we probably got the turkey in early October. My bar mitzvah wasn't until the end of December. So by the time that cookie was cooked, it was really, really dry. Thank goodness, though, we had plenty of soda on hand. Dry wasn't the only thing. Turkey wasn't the only thing that was dry. My father's sense of humor was dry and cruel. My father knew I was this really big Beatles fan, and I especially loved John Lennon. So one day I'm hanging out in my room. I'm 17 years old. My dad walks, I'm probably filling out entry slips for a color TV drawing. And my dad comes in, he says, innocently enough, how many Beatles are there? And I said, 4. And he says, not anymore. That's how I found out that John Lennon had been killed. Well, listen, I want to thank you all for listening to my dysfunctional upbringing. To quote a line, or actually a lyric, or paraphrase a lyric, from one of my favorite Beatles songs, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. You're such a lovely audience. I'd love to take you home, vit me. Thank you.